Evening and welcome to J-Box right here, and I needed to post something about this Chris Eubanks fight with Connor Benn. Okay, I've even wrote down some stuff, bits and pieces that I'd like to share. All right, so your comments are welcomed. All right, but what am I gonna say? This is not what we wanted. I would consider myself a hardcore fan. Okay? I would consider myself a hardcore fan. And I remember the fight with Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank Sr. That was a brilliant encounter, you know? And that's what made me fall in love with boxing even more. But you got to understand the levels that, you know, there are levels to it. And neither of their sons, I'm sorry, no disrespect to the great one, yeah, to the fathers, but Connor and Chris are not about it. Okay, we can't be having the, you know, and you know the state of boxing, what it is today. I think Floyd Mayweather was a genius in the ring, absolute genius. But you know, now what it is, everyone wants to finish off undefeated. Everyone doesn't want, you know, so they won't take risky fights. Yeah, and that's all good. But you know, one thing that Floyd did do before he became this money man was he fought everyone that was in the division. You know, you can argue about it and their age and what, but he fought a lot of them, right? Connor's got like, what is it, 23 fights and stuff, and I'm just like, yo guys, really, Connor, you need to concentrate on your own weight, because your weight class is full of killers, full of them, Boots being one of them. Yeah, say what you want about him and stuff like that, the guy's a killer. Yeah, there's other guys below him as well who are killers, and you know this quick money fight, yeah, is actually not worth it. And I think there's a video of Chris Eubank Sr. actually talking about this, and he's basically saying, you know, that you know Chris Jr. would be killing himself to get to the 157. I seen you 159, and you look terrible, brother. Right? Now he's staying at 160 and Connor's got to move up. Now, let me tell you this. I keep going on about certain things, and every time I talk about boxing and weight class moving up, in more recent times, Andre Ward was ticked to fight, you know, Kovalev, and he accepted, but he wanted a few fights at the weight. He had about 3 fights at light heavy before he went to Kovalev. Fucking Usyk had a few fights at heavyweight before he fought Joshua. Yeah? And it's the same sort of concept when it's even welterweight to middleweight. Yeah, you can say the same thing about Kell Brook and Triple G, but you know what it was with Kell Brook? Kell Brook was filling in for Chris Eubanks. Yeah? He was filling in. If you was in that situation, you'd probably do the same thing. Yeah? Connor and Chris, leave it alone. I've made a list of people in the middleweight division who Chris Eubanks Jr. can fight, okay, instead of Connor. And I've made a list for Connor as well. I like to play sometimes matchmaker. You know, I'm from the 80s, so I pretend to be a matchmaker, and I've come up with a couple of fights, because middleweight ain't what it used to be. I understand, but there are still some good guys coming up there. There is a lot of undefeated fighters, but guys that are in the same sort of situation as Chris, need a name and stuff like that. I'm saying you need to be the names and make the names yourself. Stop wanting to fight guys that, you know, Canelo's and your Triple G's. Canelo is a bit of a diva. He doesn't even know you, bruv. Allow it. Now, Connor, you can go and you need to build up your public trust, all right? Because we think that you, even if you, I don't think you intentionally or even knew that you had this in you, but you know the British public are not so forgiving. All right, so we need to see you in some little fights. This fight that you had with a guy called Peñard, I remember it being a 6-rounder at first. Hey, listen, that was one of the greatest little 6-rounder fights I've seen anyway. Yeah, that was a brilliant fight, and well done to you for that. Yeah. And then it was like, you know, you had a couple more wins. Chris had Van Erding and what did it, Chris? Algeria. And then it started to get like, you felt like you was on top of the, you know, the echelons, and it was like, you're not being proven. You have not been proven. And the weight class you're in is a legendary weight class. So that means no matter where you look, there are killers up and down in that division. To be a welterweight at any time in boxing must be fucking difficult. Welterweight and below, that's hard. That's hardcore. Yeah. So, look, I feel like in the rankings of the middleweight, I'm sorry to keep going on about Chris Eubank Jr, but you know, I thought the sun shone out of his dad's arse. I honestly did. I thought he was the greatest boxer I'd ever seen. Yeah, and then I seen Rob. Yeah, but I'm saying to you, yeah, respect is respect. You understand? I'm sorry about the camera. Yeah, I just thought that, I don't know. I felt like you do your own thing. Now, Chris Jr., I feel like in the division you've got Shane Mosley Jr. Shane Mosley Jr. would probably be a bigger fight than you and Connor Benn because of your names. All right? Yeah, you don't know each other. No, you haven't got no history. Well, stop building history and don't have it. Yeah? Stop looking for big paydays and this sort of Floyd Mayweather lifestyle. It's not going to work for you because you're not concentrating on it properly. Shane Mosley Jr. he's been ranked number 2 in some of the governing bodies and stuff. He's making ways for himself. And where he came from, I don't know if anyone watched it, but there was the Contender with Andre Ward. Andre Ward was presenting the Contender, and a few guys out there kind of made it, but Shane Mosley Jr. was the name because of his name, and he stood out the most. Okay, they could have, you know, if those two guys are willing to build in it, that could be a beautiful little history. And again, we would be opening up boxing to what it was a little bit. You know, we need to make sure that we don't lose boxing, because a lot of the times we're losing out because no one doesn't want to fight no one. It's too hard of a fight. I'm undefeated. I'm A-side. I'm B's. Stop this. Your dads never did that. They just got in the ring and fought. Yeah, it wasn't until Floyd got a bit more wealthy and a bit more thing where he could call the shots. You guys have not even made it to the mid yet. Yeah? Come on, let's get these fights sorted out. And don't fight Chris Eubanks Jr. and don't fight Connor, Chris. And Connor, don't fight Chris. Because end of the day, it's a lose-lose situation. Yeah? If Chris wins, it'll be because you're too big. If Connor wins, it'll be because Chris had to come down and this, that, the other. Can't be asked with excuses. Yeah? Nigel Benn and Chris Sr. Chris Sr. was a big middleweight. And Nigel Benn was a small middleweight. Or smaller. Yeah? They didn't give a fuck. They went in there and walloped each other all over the fucking show. So we've got to stop. Please, man. Let's get this on. I think Chris should be looking at Shane Mosley Jr. Yeah, his record isn't as big as yours. And it's not padded, but you're both looking for opportunities. What a brilliant way to try and get, you know, this opportunity, this fighting thing, and get the fight together. You guys this could be good in history, and then you'll be making money off that. I don't think Shane Mosley Jr. is bothered that much about fame and stuff. He doesn't strike me as that. And I think to myself sometimes, I don't know if Chris is. I don't know if it's just all for all for the money and stuff like that. But another thing as well, Junior, is make up with your dad. Make up with your dad. Yeah. Yeah, I know, he seems like he could be a handful sometimes. I understand this. Yeah, but that's your dad. And you know, remember, he didn't want you to go into boxing, but you wanted to, so you should have him by your side. Because now is the time of the vultures. You were calling scumbags to these promoters and stuff like that. Don't you think your dad would have spotted that from before? You know, let's be cool, man. Come on. All right. So look, my list of people. All right, I have right here. And I'm just gonna shout them out because this is what I think would be good. Yes, on paper. All right. So in the IBF, starting from 10. All right, starting from 10. And this rankings is from Boxing Scene. Okay, I know each company has a different set of rankings, but I just took it from Boxing Scene. Okay, so at 10 in the IBF, we've got Austin Williams. Ammo didn't really do too well in the 5 vs 5, but I saw it goes rebuilding. Some of the names I'm not gonna even try to attempt to read or try and say it out because I don't want to butcher them and disrespect them. But Andre Mikhailovich, again, looks like a decent fighter. The record: 21 wins, 1 loss, no losses, 13 KOs. Not bad. Number 8, you've got Tyler Denny. Tyler Denny's, he's there. He is there. Okay. But further down the rankings, we've got Shane Mosley Jr. at 4 with 22 wins, 4 losses and 12 knockouts. And then you got Chris Eubank Jr. at 3 with 34 wins, 3 losses, 25 knockouts. Now, you're telling me with 2 guys, back in the days, this fight would have already been signed. Okay. Then, you got Janabek as the champion. 16 wins, 0 losses. Undefeated. An undefeated champion again. What's this now? In the WBA, backwards again, I'm not going to even try to attempt to read some of them. I'll just skip through. Vadim Turkov in the WBA at ranking number 9. 15 wins, 0 losses. Chris, you can be looking at these guys and be trying to give them their first loss. Like Floyd did to Canelo. And just leave after that because you're at the age, and then these guys will be carrying on bitter that they've got this 1 loss. The first loss they had was from you. Another good British fight that would be good would be Eubank Jr. and Denzel Bentley. This will be a brilliant fight. Bentley's got 21 wins, 3 losses with 17 KO. I know Bentley can do it. I like the way he fights. I know that would make a good little British domestic fight. There's an Irish guy here at number 3, Connor Coyle. 21 wins, no losses, undefeated again, 9 KO. Again, that would make a very good fight. Then in the WBA, well, like I'm saying to you, ranked number 2 is Shane Mosley Jr. This guy called Yonil Hernandez, Cuban. That's all I'm going to say, Cuban. 6 wins, 6 KOs. And then you got Laura on the win there with 31 wins, 3 losses and 19 KO. Bless him. I like Laura, yeah. But you know that he's coming to the end of the sale-by date, He's coming to that sale-by date. Here we go.